So you're here for the first movie, and obviously, you know, it's there's never any way to know if something like that's going to be successful or if a sequel is even a possibility. What was the moment when you first found out where you were like, okay, this is doing well enough to where we can revisit this and we can come back and do more? And did you always know you had more to it?
I didn't plan for, like, I wish I was, like, I had that much foresight. Like, I was George Lucas, like, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create the trilogy, but we're going to do the first one, third. Like, I wasn't even thinking like that. I thought it's a funny movie, and it's silly, and I think there's enough jokes to sustain and make my audience laugh. And the opening weekend, it did amazing. I mean, with the budget that we had and the budget that we had to spend and the movies we was coming out against, in fact, we did close to $19 million, you know, I mean, we was only made for $1.7 million. So, you know, nobody really talks about that, you know, because when you're number 2 in the box office, all they talk about is number 1 is, you know, what's the name of that Bin Laden movie?
Zero Dark 30?
Yeah, Zero Dark 30. Zero Dark number 1, and they say who bombs. So, and then a month later, Zero Dark 30 is this was Monster Squad loses to the second place. And it's like, that's us! Give me the second place. But anyway, I didn't plan on it, and then Open Road and my financier, I'm Global, like Stuart Ford, they were like chasing me down, like, okay, so what's the sequel? And I was just like, dude, we wasn't thinking about it. The sequel. This is like the week of opening. I had just done a promotional tour. He's like, so what's this? I said, I don't know. I wasn't even thinking about doing a sequel. He goes, we have to do a sequel, and you have to do it by next year. We want it out by Halloween. I was like, you fucking out of your mind? You can't get a movie out by Halloween. Nothing. Like, I've been rushed to do movies, and I don't like it. I like when Scary Movie 2, we had to make a date, so we couldn't make a movie. So as funny as people may think it is, like to us, it's not one of our best because we didn't have time to really work with the story. It was just like it was a confection. It wasn't a movie. It was just jokes, just right hands. And, you know, sometimes you want to jab and pepper and, you know, you want to modulate your punches. So this one, I was like, I can't commit. And I was like, let me watch some movies and I'll see it. Let me chew on it. So me and Rick just got a bunch of movies, the recent movies, watched Sinister, we watched The Possession, you know, there was things in it. And then we got into an early screening of The Conjuring. And we was like, oh, that doll. That doll. When you guys see the movie, that doll, that's a storyline. So we had that, and then we watched Amityville Horror, the old one and the new one. And then we watched a couple of more movies, and we found what the natural progression for Malcolm could be, and found the story. And otherwise, I didn't want to just do a movie full of crazy, just gags. I do gags anyway, but I would like to, you know, where I'm at in my life, I want to do gags layered into a story with some fun characters and do off-the-wall scatological humor.
Now,
Yep.
You say with the first movie, that was the first time you did a project outside of your very talented family. You were on your own for that project.
Yes.
It was successful with the second project.
When you said that, I was like, with your talented family, that you're kind of on the outskirts of.
No.
Too bad you're not a part of that.
No. I was just wondering, with the success, did you come across any additional challenges that maybe you wish you had the family there with you and you were just ready to take it on by yourself totally?
I always wish I had my family with me. You know, I love working with my brothers. They're my best friends and, you know, like my heroes, and, you know, I love being around them. Like, you know, it's like you kill two birds with one stone when you hang with family, because you get to work, but you're getting to work with the people you love. And that's fun, but, you know, I didn't feel like, you know, I have them in my head. You know, I got Keenan's voice in my head, like he's like Yoda of comedy to me. Like, fart jokes you must do. Like, but, you know, it's like they're in me. You know what I mean? In terms of, you know, I've been raised with them. I've been raised in comedy with them since I was 5 years old. So I didn't question, nor was I nervous. I was just excited to go. Just use the force and see what I could do and see if I make choices by myself. It's like you pass or fail. I can't be scared to fail. Failing is a beautiful thing, because that's one of the roadblocks. One of the keys to success is learning how to fail. So, I wasn't afraid, but I missed them, but I didn't miss splitting that check. Hello. Hello, man. Hello. How the hell did Earth, Wind, and Fire make any money? You see how many Negroes was in that band? What? You don't need this many saxophone players.
All right, you talking about the progression of Malcolm from, A Haunted House 1 to A Haunted House 2. And I wanted you to speak a little bit more on the progression of that and also how this film is different from 1 and 2.
Well, Haunted House 1 was a kind of like a sneak peek into the black perspective of what it was like to deal with the paranormal. And we kind of touched on some of the, why do white people do this and why do they do that? But this time, I thought it was fun to actually marry him with a white girl and her have that experience like, oh my God, there's a ghost in the house. How cool is that? Bitch, are you crazy? It's a ghost. Ain't nothing cool about it. And so I thought having that element there would give us constant comedy. And plus, I think it gave us a whole new well to kind of explore, just in terms of the interracial relationship. Things that are kind of like out there that we haven't really talked about. And it kind of, because to me, I don't think you've ever seen much of a black guy and a white girl together. And there are so many mixed families nowadays that it really isn't that big of a deal. But for some reason, filmmakers are scared to go there. And I think that, when you show the world, you want to represent everybody. That's why I have the Latino next door neighbor, because there's not that many roles for Latinos, and I want to give a great sizable role to a really funny Latino comedian, and give that audience something. Let this movie be something for everybody. Like blacks could enjoy it, whites could enjoy it, Hispanics could enjoy it. It's an equal opportunity offender. Everybody gets it. So myself included. We take digs everywhere, and that's the fun of the movie. And it's like it's a reservoir for comedy, and it's different than the first one because the first one was more about just our perspective.
Following up a little bit on that, because that's one of the things I do like about the film is that it is so colorful. But did you have a hard time kind of getting the cast that you wanted?
You always have a hard. When you ain't got no money, when you going, hey, come in and do this favor, shit, get out of here. All your number ones usually say hell no. I got lucky in that, like with, Cedric came back and Afion came back, and those are my, my number ones. And Gabriel, I did a show with, and I said, yeah, you're really funny. You should do movies. He goes, write one, fucker. I was like, okay. And I said, if I write it, you better do it. He goes, write it. So I wrote it. And then he came in, we did a reading together. It was great. And I casted him over Twitter. I was like, you got the part. He's like, word, see you on set. And I like to work with people that I know and people that I know are funny, because I like to improvise. And I like everybody to feel comfortable with improvising. And I want to know your comedic sensibilities, and I want you to know that, hey, beat the joke. I know it's written. I know it's funny. Make it funnier. I don't care. And because we got one like it's written, so now let's go in and just have some fun. So you don't really, especially because I don't have much budget, you don't get the A choice a lot of times. I just got lucky. And God, I always say this to Rick, when you don't get the people that you want, God cast your movie. Whoever you get is who you're supposed to have. Mm-hmm. And there are no regrets, and there's no remorse. They're actually very lucky that you got the people that you got. And that really is your A choices. Every one of my cast members is my A choice, because never mind the people that didn't do the movie, it's the people that did do the movie that count.
When you're writing things like this, do you ever feel like they're...
I just got an amen.
You're preaching. I felt it was necessary.
Can I get a tabernacles?
Okay, I got it. Do you feel like there are certain areas that you can't go into or delve into, or certain things that you shouldn't do? Never? Never feel like you might be...
The audience will tell me, no, you got to be free to explore. You got to be free to go places. There are some things that you just go, that's not funny. Or I don't have the funny perspective on that yet. So I can't, but with that said, there's nothing, we touch on everything in this movie, like black, white, Latino, religion, paranormal, you name it. We do it. Sexuality, of course. Did you see the last movie? I got ghost raped.
Did you decide that? Is that your decision?
Unfortunately, yeah, I did. Yeah. It doesn't hurt as much as you would think. So, no, I think you got to be, I'm doing a rated R movie. I think nowadays people, you got the internet generation, they're not as sensitive as one may think. It's the parents that are so sensitive. It's the grandparents that are very sensitive. But the kids, they're not into that type of thing like, the older generation. The younger generation, it's funny, they don't really see race like that anyway. It's like my kids are 12 and almost 14. They have never been called N-word in their life, except by me. Strange as that.
When watching horror films, what do you look for to spoof, and how do you know when you find that one thing you're just like, oh yeah, I gotta spoof that. I have to make fun of that.
It's funny. I don't look to spoof. This really isn't a parody film. It's more of a horror comedy with parody moments. It's not a true parody, and I don't think any of the movies that we kind of do are really true parodies, because even though some of the storylines are similar, we just create different kind of. It's more of a like a Scary Movie was like a horror comedy, but it was a parody, but it was a little bit more broad. This is broad, but set in more grounded reality, and then it gets really insane. So I don't know. It's more of a horror comedy with parody moments, but I don't look to parody. Parody looks for me. So I'm sitting there and I'm just watching, and I'm just like, oh, that is ridiculous. And we can watch the same movie. Your page may have 25 different other things written than what I have written, because we're computers. And so the way you see the world is different from the way I see the world. Something sparks me, has nothing to do with the movie. I could be watching the movie and see a truck in the background and go, oh, you know what? When they move in, what we should do, it's like, what do you even think about that? But it's comedy, it comes from different places, and it just kind of, I don't know, it's like God talks to you, like, boom, write that. And you just kind of do it. Not God. Ooh, God wouldn't write ghost rape. I don't think God would write ghost rape. Whatever that force up there is. Somebody
he
up
did
there.
have Immaculate Conception, which is kind of ghost rape.
Hello?
Maybe.
Kind of. So that's somebody's baby. Huh? What's that child support like, huh?
What is it about horror, like, as opposed to like white chicks? And it seems like you like to do the horror aspect of it. Like, what is that?
I like to do it all. It's not even just horror. I mean, look, we did, Don't Be a Menace was a hood movie. White Chicks was just a regular movie. Little Man was based on some Bugs Bunny stuff. Horror, though, I like the horror genre because I grew up on horror. And so I always found it funny because I was scared. And so for me, instead of being scared, allow myself to believe that and allow myself to be actually, frightened, I would go, okay, what's funny about it? And that way I can watch a horror movie and I'm not all scared. While everybody else is jumping, I'm going, oh, that moment right there, the one that everybody got scared and that dude ran out the theater, right there, that's a joke right there. So I'm just looking for comedy, and it comes in all different forms. It's every movie I watch is really annoying. I hate it. And then the darkest of movie, and I'm just sitting there going, what's funny about Requiem for a Dream is, oh yeah.
You're about due for another hood movie, huh? That was a long time ago.
I know,
yeah,
man.
update it.
I know. I got to get my street cred back.
You're pretty active on Twitter. How do you feel that social media has kind of changed the film industry?
Because you directly connect to your audience. You directly speak to your people. You're no longer the veil has been lifted on the star. Because now you're communicating with your fans, and there used to be this separation. And it was always, oh, who's behind the glasses? Oh, who's behind the bodyguards? Now you could directly just hit somebody. And me, I hit them back. And they know if they come at me with love, I'm going to give you love back. You come at me with something funny to say, I'm going to shit on you. That's just, because it's just, and they like that. they like that. And they go, yo, afterward, they're like, yo, man, yeah, you right. My mom is a, dragon. But yo, I'm a fan of yours. And they just wanted to have a session with me, man. They just wanted to kind of battle and have someone's ringing. Is this mine? Yeah. They just wanted to have a quick roast session with me. So I like directly talking to fans. Even so much like when I have screenings of a movie, I have fans tweet, or people in the theater, tweet their opinion of the movie. I don't care if it's good, if it's bad, if it's ugly. I retweet what they say because I want the people to know what other people like them think. And my audience, who I made the movie for, that's my critics, and that's what I make movies for. I would love to make it for the critics, but honestly, I don't know if they're my audience like that, So, yeah, I like it. Some people don't. My brother Sean is not big on tweeting. He just started tweeting, and now he's like all the time. Keenan just started texting, so good luck with that. But I actually like letting them see what my life is like. I like letting them see I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I hit the gym, and then I go to this outlet, I go to that outlet. You're like, damn, how many places have you been? And this is what I did all day. Yes, and then I take that much time and I go eat, and I work all day. And then I get on a plane. Now off the plane, I go to a Q&A. After the Q&A, I go sleep 4 hours so I could do this again. I let them know that fame is hard work, because if there's anybody else out there that wants to, be famous, I want them to know what it's about. It's about the work. And I love my fans, and they love me. And if it wasn't for them, there'd be no me. And so I think directly, contacting with them is great. Now I go to college Q&As, and I've been doing lectures at like Emerson, and because I know there's that generation. I want to speak to them. I want to let them know, because my brother let me know how to do it. So if I can let them know how to do it and use social media to help them do it, that's awesome.
I know you mentioned you approached your brother to play Cedric's entertainer character on the first one. Do you think you regret not playing it since this character was?
Nah, because he told me no on this one too. So thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. And Damon and Keenan. Thank you guys so much for your support. I don't think Damon's going to come to the premiere. He says it's too crazy for him. I said, is this the Negro that did Handyman? Damon, crazy. But he came to the party, though. Hey, whoop, whoop. Shots. Yes.
So you talked about your work ethic and everything like that, and you co-starred alongside Jared Leto, who is now an Oscar winner and everything like that.
You gonna throw that in my face?
Well, no,
you trying to say that he's?
What I'm trying to say? Do you ever feel
What if I really got pissed off?
Right?
Walked out.
You actually did great, in that.
But not as good as Jared, right?
You did a great job in Recommend. I love that film. What I'm asking is, do you ever feel like now, you hit so many goals in your life, do you have to get that prestigious medal of an Oscar or anything? Or what's the new goal for you?
I'm never going to be the guy that goes to chase Oscars. If Oscar comes to me by doing what I'm doing, or if I decide to go do a movie, like, look, if I got the role of Pryor, I would love that. And I've been doing stand-up for 3.5 years, preparing for that moment, if it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be the guy that goes abandoning my audience to go, drama guy now. I'm not chasing statues. If it's a great movie with a great director, I would do it. But the movies that I would make, the ones that I like to do, I love comedies. I love seeing smiles on people's faces. When I see tears, I hope it's from people laughing. I can do drama. I'm dramatically trained, but honestly, I like the challenge of comedy. It is so much harder for people, period. I love to perform. I love performing at a high level. I love taking a small situation, compiling it with complications, and watching a person unravel in a funny way, just reacting. And, it's like, if you put Robert De Niro in Liar Liar, I don't know if that movie's that funny. You put Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, it's his reactions. It's how he takes a simple situation and he allows it to make him broad and get broader and broader and broader. And it came from somewhere. And he's maximizing his skill set to do that. I have a skill set in terms of, I always know I'm a fool. That's what I do. I'm not a cool. I'm a fool. And I wear that badge and I wear it with honor. And if I ever have any, every now and then if I get one of those roles, great, with a great director. But it's not what I'm going to go chase.
So what's your funniest moment in a haunted house too?
I'll say this, just watch The Doll.
No.
Yeah.
So as a teenager, I watched Scary Movie 1 and 2 a lot, to a point where I quoted a lot from my parents, and they probably thought I had mental problems. But
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I probably did.
It's better that than don't. It's better you did that one and not Don't Be a Menace. If you'd be like,
Well,
hey,
that's
Ma,
true.
what's up, you bitch ass, trick ass.
They're probably just like, what? Who are the Wayans brothers? But one of the things I was wondering when I was watching is like, how many movies did you prepare for Scary Movie 1 and 2? So out of the 4, Scary Movie 1, 2, Haunted House 1 and 2, you said you watched Possession and Sinister stuff.
Everything.
What was the most movies you watched to prepare for one of the 4?
I think Scary Movie was probably the
Really?
most because I would say Scary Movie 2. Oh my God, it just felt like forever because we had to just like we was at Keenan's house for like it felt like weeks. Just at a point, I just went to sleep. I was like, all right.
Well, I imagine that you guys would like lock yourselves in a cold, dark basement and just like plow through all the movies that you had picked out.
Pretty much over and over and over and over and over and over again to the point where you vomited in your own mouth.
Okay, that's just what I kind of figured.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was that bad because you had to know the conventions in and out, and so in these movies I don't have to watch them as much because I'm not doing a direct parody. I just when I'm watching it I go, okay, I like this, and that. I'm just looking for little scenes and little popular things that I could go, oh, this would be a fun story, like The Doll and The Conjuring. That's a fun storyline in the movie. None of the stuff that I do with that doll is in The Conjuring. I just created the doll and gave it its own world and made it a character. And it is, to me, it's the funniest like set pieces in the movie is the doll. And Chicken Fight, which came out of left field. It was just like he comes over with a chicken, and I was just like, what worst case scenario? If he comes over to sacrifice a chicken, what would happen? What if it's not a chicken from a farm, it's a chicken from it's a cockfighting chicken, being that he's Mexican. He got it from his cousin's cockfighting ring. And so me and this chicken have a battle royale. It just comes, like I said, comedy and all that comes from different places, but it's not a direct parody. So I caught inspiration from different things.
Cool. You mentioned Prior, which we talked about last time you were here. Don't you think that maybe there is like a nice balance in that project of maybe doing the comedy and the drama?
That's the perfect project for me. It's like,
and has this, maybe the success of this, has that helped kind of move that forward a little bit?
I don't know. I think maybe if this one's successful, it may inch it along a little more. But I don't really think that one has to do with the other. I do think look, if it's huge, then I'm like, oh, of course the guy from Haunted House who humped 3 stuffed animals is supposed to play the greatest comedian of all time. Because just box office numbers wise, you just gotta go give it to him. But for me, I look and I go, it is the perfect movie for me to do because I get to mix everything that I do, and I've studied for the past 25 years. I get to express in that one character of Prior. I get to show my dramatic chops. I get to do my stand-up. I get to do characters of which I love to do. I get to play something dark but something light. I got to make him lovable, and even though he had such a dark life at some times, and I have to show him vulnerable, and I just think it is the perfect project. So in the meantime, Prior to me, I just been working on the skill set. I'm not worried about the lines and all that, and I'm just worried about, can I do characters? Can I tell a joke? Can I animate it? Can I be truthful about what I feel? Can I do characters? Can I make the audience, go like this to the audience, build a fourth wall, do a monologue where the audience just is quiet, yet they're laughing and they're listening? Like he has, for that role, you have to have a skill set. So all I've been working on is the skill set. And, if it happens, great. If not, great. Because me working on that skill set is making me better. I started out wanting to play a great, and now I want to be a great. I love stand-up that much that I'm sitting there going, I want to sell out Madison Square Garden one year. I want to do that. I want to create a stand-up special that people quote. I want to create a stand-up or a series of specials. I want to go down as one of the greats. I want to be on that Mount Rushmore comedy. but that's gonna take a lot of work, and I'm new to it. So, let me look up in 20 years and see what I've amassed and what I've done, but at least I have some direction of where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm dying to see you do that role.
No, thank you.
What's the delay on you getting the role or playing properly?
They got a new director, Lee Daniels, who's dope. But, the reality is, and I've been in this situation many times where you had a movie and they changed directors and you no longer have that movie and you don't get that part. Batman, I was supposed to be Robin. Joel Schumacher was like, no, I like Chris O'Donnell. And so it was Chris O'Donnell.
Think you dodged the bullet
That's a
there.
good thing.
I know. When it does happen, normally it's good. Like G.I. Joe 2, it was like, nah, let's get rid of Ripcord and let's bring in, we need a handsomer Ripcord. Let's get The Rock and let's get an old Channing. Let's blow Channing up. Let's get Bruce Willis in here. Hollywood, not even Hollywood. It just is what it is. I don't get affected by it in a negative way. I know that, I believe in alchemy, man. If it doesn't happen, it was not supposed to, it wasn't meant to be. And I know the positives of me studying to play the greatest comedian ever. It's going to make me better as a comedian. It's going to make me better as a writer. This journey is far beyond one project. I've been running this marathon for 20-something years, and I'm gonna be running it another 40, God willing, another 50 until I pass. This is what I do, and I'm just blessed to be on the journey and growing, and that's all I can ask for, and loving what I do, and talking to you beautiful people.
Amen. Awesome. Well, if you guys,
I do like talking to y'all, by the way.
we like talking to you.
I
like
do.
listening.
Yeah.
I talk a lot. You'll have to edit through a lot of that.
Good.
I almost grabbed this microphone and farted.